A video goes up at night with a few hundred views, and by morning it has 40,000. The creator wakes up to a number that looks like the moment everything changed. Screenshots go out, the comments fill with congratulations, a small panic of excitement sets in. And then, 2 days later, the count quietly slides back down. Not to where it started, but lower than the peak, settling at some smaller, stranger number that nobody announced and nobody explained. Nothing crashed, no message arrived. The platform just looked again at what it had counted, decided a large slice of it was not real, and took it back. If you have ever watched a view count climb impossibly fast and then deflate, you have seen the edge of something most people never think about. A view is not a fact. A view is a claim, and behind that claim, there is an entire economy built on faking it, and an entire machinery built on catching it. That is what this is about, what a view actually is. Start with the thing everyone assumes is simple. A view feels like it should mean one person watched one video. But no platform defines it that way, and almost none of them will tell you exactly how they do define it. On one site, a view might count after a few seconds of playback. On another, it might need a longer watch, or a real signal that a human was present, or some private threshold that changes whenever the people running it decide it should. This vagueness is not an accident. Platforms keep the exact rules deliberately fuzzy, because the moment they publish the precise line, every system built to game it calibrates to sit just past that line. A clear rule is a target. A fuzzy rule, enforced quietly and adjusted often, is much harder to fit a machine around. So the most important number on the internet is one that nobody will define out loud, and that is stranger than it sounds. The view is the unit the whole attention economy is priced in, and yet it is intentionally slippery, a measurement that resists being measured. That softness is a defense. It means the rules can move underneath the people trying to beat them, without anyone outside ever being told the rules moved at all. A number with money attached. Here is why any of this matters. A view is not just a tally. It is a number with money and status bolted onto it, and that is what turns it into a target. Views drive ad payouts. They drive the recommendation systems that decide who gets seen next. They feed the charts and rankings that promise even more attention to whatever already looks popular. So a view stops being a measurement and becomes a currency. And anytime you attach real value to a number, somebody will work out how to manufacture that number more cheaply than they can earn it. That single fact, a view is a number with money attached, is the engine under everything that follows. It is why this will always be gamed, no matter how the rules are written, why people fake them. The demand side is the easy part to understand. People inflate their numbers for reasons that feel almost reasonable from the inside. The first is social proof. A video with 40,000 views pulls real people in, because we are wired to assume that if a crowd is already watching, the thing must be worth watching. A high number is bait for genuine attention. The second reason is placement. Charts, trending lists, recommendation feeds, they all reward what already looks big, so a burst of fake numbers can be a lever to pry open real visibility. And the third reason is raw payout. The hope that inflated counts turn directly into ad money or sponsor interest. The motives are different, but they rhyme. Each one treats the number as the prize, instead of the thing the number was supposed to describe. Dia disindi can learn properly, the may namahu wenam. At one end are bots, software pretending to be viewers, requesting a video over and over, without a person ever present. They are cheap and they scale, which is exactly what makes them easy to spot in bulk. In the middle sits infrastructure, large pools of internet addresses and devices used to make all that automated traffic look like it is coming from many different ordinary people in many different places, rather than from one machine in one room. And at the far end are real humans, low-paid workers in large rooms or scattered across many phones, actually tapping play. That last category exists precisely because real people are the hardest kind of fake to catch. The closer the fake gets to a genuine human watching, the more it costs, and the whole market lives on that trade-off, why it usually backfires. Now the part the demand side tends to ignore. Buying views mostly does not work, and often does real damage. The first problem is that the platform is going to recount. Fake views are not permanent. When the verification pass runs, the inflated portion gets stripped out, which is exactly why a count can swell overnight and then quietly shrink. The screenshot ages badly. The second problem is deeper. Recommendation systems do not actually care about the raw view number anywhere near as much as people think. They care about what happens during and after the view, whether anyone kept watching, came back, engaged. Fake views bring none of that. So a video stuffed with hollow numbers sends a confusing signal. Lots of plays, no real attention, and the system reads that mismatch as a reason to push it less, not more. The inflation can quietly suffocate the exact reach it was meant to buy. And that is before any penalty for being caught. How platforms recount. So what is the platform actually doing when the number falls? Think of a view count as provisional, not final. When activity comes in, it gets counted quickly, because the alternative is a number that lags reality by hours. But that fast count is a first draft. Behind it, slower systems are re-examining the same traffic with far more scrutiny than the live counter ever could. That second pass is where fake views die. It correlates signals across time, across accounts, across the whole platform, looking for the traffic that does not hold up. When it finds inflation, it purges it, and the public number drops to match. This is the honest explanation for the thing creators find so unsettling, the count that mysteriously decreases. It is not a glitch. It is the system admitting its first guess was generous and correcting itself in public. Watch patterns give it away. Now the detection itself, which is where this gets genuinely clever. The first and loudest signal is watch behavior. A real audience is messy. People drop off at different moments, rewind, skip, watch for wildly different lengths, abandon the tab and come back. That ragged, uneven shape is what genuine human attention looks like in the data. Fake traffic struggles to fake mess. Automated views tend to land at suspiciously similar moments, watch for oddly identical durations, or stop dead at exactly the point that triggers a count and not a second longer. When thousands of views all behave like copies of one another, the uniformity itself is the tell. Real attention has texture. Manufactured attention is too smooth, and smoothness, at scale, is loud. The engagement mismatch. The second signal is the relationship between numbers that should move together. On a real platform, views, watch time, likes, comments, shares, and follows all rise in rough proportion. They are different shadows of the same underlying thing, which is real people caring a little. When one of those numbers sprints far ahead of the others, that gap is suspicious all by itself. A video with 100,000 views and almost no comments, likes, or shared watch time is not impossible, but it is strange in a way the system has learned to notice. Genuine popularity tends to leave a balanced footprint. Bought popularity leaves a lopsided one, a tall spike of views standing on top of nothing. The platform reads the shape of the whole footprint, not just its height, where the traffic comes from. The third family of signals is about origin. Every view arrives from somewhere, carrying details about the connection and the device behind it. Real audiences are spread across a believable mix of places, networks, devices, and times of day, the natural scatter of actual people living actual lives in different time zones. Fake traffic tends to cluster, a flood of views from one narrow slice of infrastructure or from networks already known for hosting automation, or all arriving in an unnaturally even rhythm around the clock, with no human ebb and flow, stands out against that natural scatter. And even when the addresses are dressed up to look residential and ordinary, the pattern of how they behave together, all moving the same way at the same time, can betray them when a single address never would. Fingerprint clustering, which leads to the most quietly powerful signal of all. The device itself leaves a faint, distinctive trace, a pattern assembled from dozens of small technical details about the browser and the machine behind a view on its own. One of these device signatures means nothing. It is just a description of a fairly ordinary setup. The power comes from seeing them together. When hundreds or thousands of views that claim to be different people all carry the same underlying signature, or a tight little family of near identical ones, the illusion of a crowd collapses into what it really is, a handful of machines wearing many costumes. This is fingerprint clustering, and it is why scale, the thing that makes faking cheap, is also the thing that makes faking visible. The more views you manufacture, the more pattern you hand to the people whose entire job is finding pattern. And the platform does not have to make this call in the moment. It can wait. It can let the suspicious traffic sit, gather more of the same signature over days, watch the cluster grow, and only then act, stripping the whole tainted block at once. The faker is trying to look like a crowd in a single burst. The defender gets to study that crowd at leisure, from the inside, with full history, long after the burst is over. The asymmetry underneath. Step back and you can see why the defenders mostly win this particular fight. The person inflating a number has to make their fake traffic look human across every one of these layers at once. The watch behavior, the balance of engagement, the spread of origins, the diversity of devices, and they have to keep it looking human at scale and over time. The platform only has to catch one layer that does not hold up, and the platform has a permanent advantage the faker can never match. It watches enormous amounts of genuine human behavior every single day, which means it always has a fresh, accurate picture of what real looks like. The imitator is guessing at a moving target. The defender is measuring it directly. That gap is why bot numbers tend to be temporary, and why the recount almost always comes what the platforms actually trust. So if the raw view count is so easy to inflate and so routinely corrected, what do the systems actually believe? The answer is the signals that are hard to fake because they require something fake traffic does not have, which is real attention sustained over real time. Genuine watch time, how long actual people stay, is far more honest than a play that triggers a counter and vanishes. Retention is the heart of it, the shape of how an audience holds on or drifts away across a video, because that curve is drawn by real human interest and is brutally hard to forge convincingly at scale. Add the patterns that only real people leave, coming back later, watching more, engaging in ways that cost effort, and you have the signals the platforms quietly weight most. The headline view number is the part everyone watches and the part that means the least. The real verdict is written in the watching, not the count. A view will always be gamed. So here is where it settles. A view was never a clean fact about reality. It is a number with money and status attached, which means it will always be worth faking, and there will always be an economy that springs up to fake it. That pressure does not go away. It just moves as the rules shift and the detection sharpens and the fakes get more expensive and more human to keep up. But the same logic that guarantees the gaming also guarantees the catching. The moment a fake number has to survive scrutiny across watch patterns, engagement, origin, and device, all at once and over time, it becomes far cheaper to earn real attention than to convincingly counterfeit it at scale. The number on the screen is the loudest thing and the least trustworthy. The truth was always in the watching underneath it. If this is the kind of thing you find yourself turning over, the quiet machinery under the numbers we all stare at, then this channel is your sort of place. There is no product here, nothing to sell you, just the systems taken apart and explained by someone who has spent a long time on the inside of them. Subscribe and follow the rabbit hole. Next time we are going to do for words what we just did for numbers. Fake reviews manufactured at industrial scale, the hidden factories that produce trust by the thousand, and the ways platforms try to tell a real opinion from a purchased one. Once you see how reviews are made, you will never read 5 stars the same way again.